Welcome to Grounds for Discussion
and Title Talk,
where we bring together closing, processing, real estate,
and coffee, of course.
Whether you're a buyer, seller, agent, or fellow industry professional, join us as we unpack the processes that make real estate deals happen. Hello, I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Barbie.
And today we have the money man of commercial lending, Marc Mayer.
Hey,
welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Appreciate
Thank you so
it.
much for taking time out of your day
My
to
pleasure.
join us.
My pleasure.
Tell us just a little quick snippet about Marc Mayer, and then we're going to get into what's going on right here. Tell us about
Be
Marc.
happy to. So, actually, I was born on the East Coast in Virginia. My dad was a chemical engineer, so change of companies, promotions. We moved quite a bit. So I spent some time in Indiana and then actually lived in Canada for 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And I moved down here in '94, which was my freshman year of high school. Went to Kickapoo and then played basketball at Drury. I graduated in '02, and I thought I wanted to be a basketball coach. And I went and was a graduate assistant down at Henderson State in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. I got my master's in business. Graduated that in 2003. Got burnt out on basketball, and so then got in the real world and got into banking. And been doing it ever since. Yes.
Adulting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That I don't think my wife would have followed me around the junior college basketball trail in the middle of nowhere,
Yes.
Kansas. And
Yes,
so
yes.
she wanted to stay in Springfield, and so that's why we're here.
Tell me again, when did you start banking? What year?
It would have been 2004.
4. Okay. So did you work your way up, or did you get right into lending?
Commercial lending.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate living life of who I know and not what I know. So I was actually got right into a lending position, and it was actually People's Bank of the Ozarks, which no longer exists. It's been since acquired, but there was kind of a one-stop shop. I could do a $500 unsecured loan, or I could do a $10 million commercial loan. And, you know, their business plan was kind of just status quo, not super aggressive on growth, and so an opportunity arose to go to Great Southern, and there specifically just did commercial lending for 13 and a half years.
That was going to be my next question.
Like I
Always
said,
commercial or any
Yep.
residential?
No, just
Always
very early
commercial.
on, and moved on to commercial and been doing it ever since. And so now I've been at SFC, now at Guaranty Bank, just over 6
Yes.
years.
SFC is Springfield First Community Bank,
correct.
which was acquired by Guaranty Bank. Or
We acquired Guaranty Bank.
yeah, you
correct.
acquired
Yep.
Guaranty, but you kept the Guaranty
Bank name, correct. Correct.
All
Yes.
right, well, we're gonna get into
We gotta do our
commercial
waters.
lending, but so when we asked Marc what his favorite thing to drink was, he said water. So we were like, okay. However, he did bring us a gift. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna try all the different fancy waters, and then we're
Are
gonna
we
choose.
doing them in order, or
I'm doing this
mixing
one
up?
first,
Okay.
so whichever one.
So we're going to decide what water we like, and then we're going to put the hydration package.
In that water, and we're gonna try. And while we're doing this, why don't you tell us about the hydration pack?
You know, so primarily I use this as a recovery from working out. Sometimes I mix it in with a pre-workout, and sometimes it's just good on a Saturday morning if you had a long Friday night.
Okay. All right. I usually like myself a little liquid IV. So I'm excited to try this to see if it's salty. I already know which one's going to be my favorite.
So when Marc got here, like I think we asked, every one of us in the office asked, is it salty? Is it salty? He's like, I don't think it's salty.
All right. My choice is Fiji.
Fiji?
Me as well.
Okay.
Yay. I
I'm
love
going to be
Fiji.
the weird
It's
one.
so smooth.
Evian. Okay. So drink a little bit out first.
Really?
You got enough out of it. I think you just pour it in and shake it up.
And what flavor is this?
This is great.
Grape?
I have some fruit punch as well, but these are grapes.
Now, the moment of truth. Is it salty? Not quite as salty.
Okay.
Just a hint of salt.
Well, that's supposed to be what helps hydrate you. Again,
Well,
right?
yes,
Correct?
but it is not like for people who don't like the saltiness of liquid IV, they would like this.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So this is good, and I could
See
use
if
some
Jennifer likes it or
hydration.
not.
It smells good.
That's what we got out of you. So it's been called Genesis and now called Pure. It's a supplement deal my
Hydrate.
wife got me on.
GPS.
So it's full packet of pre-workout. You got hydrations. There's a daily energy. It's a protein shake, daily vitamins. It's just a hodgepodge.
You have a
So-
whole regimen.
So no
Yes,
sugar, no
I'm pretty
carbs.
structured
in
on
this,
Oh,
that.
correct?
that's a good
Correct.
question.
Okay. That's good for.
At least that's what they advertise. I'm
He
gonna
would
go
have
with it.
freaked out if we'd have said, "You're going to try 7 Energy today." He would have been like, "All right," because that's what we drink when we need. Jennifer says, "Life." We need some life.
Pick him up.
Yeah,
Yes.
pick me up. So anyway,
It's
so
not
that's really
bad.
good. It's not bad.
And you'll notice
we
how
can
much
all-
of his is already gone. Like we take baby sips and. Okay. All right. All right. Down to business.
All right.
Yes. Okay. So all the questions. So the first question is really what's the difference on commercial lending to residential lending? Because I don't think people really realize there's a difference.
So in the front end of it, so residential, a lot of people, if you go borrow and get a 30-year fixed, if you came to Guaranty Bank and dealt with a residential lender, when you close on that, a lot of times your mortgage gets sold. We send it to investors, either package them up. So you may end up start Guaranty, it may go to Chase, it may go to Bank of America.
more often than not.
Yeah.
Right.
And so on the commercial lending side, when I make an individual loan, I'm collecting it. I mean, that interest income is a big driver for income for the bank. And so when I make an individual loan, I'm dealing with them on a more day-to-day basis. I'm having to collect financials on an ongoing basis. And so when I lend it, I collect it. Whereas on a residential side, they get packaged and sold, and then you could have several different technically banks that you're dealing
Yes.
with. So that's a big difference.
So would that be the same verbiage as servicing? Like when they sell a note and then they're now servicing the loan?
Yeah.
Does that mean you're servicing for the life of it?
Yes.
Okay.
On your
I mean,
commercial.
so I as a commercial lender manage a book of business, and so
Okay.
we call them portfolios. So
Okay.
different lenders have different size of commercial loan portfolios. So
Okay.
as you produce and put more in your portfolio grows.
So tell us requirements. Just I know there's probably 1,000 different requirements for a commercial loan someone would want to get, but
Yeah.
give us just a little snip
So,
of
and
what.
kind of going back to the question on the difference between residential, commercial, several years ago, residential, you could do a no income, no asset, stated income, and not have a lot of requirements. Well, after 2007, 2008, 2009, residential requirements have changed significantly. So
Right.
they're getting a lot of tax returns, business tax returns, that they never used to have to get. And so underwriters on the residential side are doing more work to get a residential loan. Flip over the commercial loan, it's going to be all the same financial information. Probably not on a residential home. You have a house, you're going to get appraisal, value. Commercial side, if somebody's doing a construction project, maybe to build apartments, you're going to have to look at the rents they're trying to charge. Can you get that in the market? So there's going to be a lot more project
More
research and kind of scrutiny on to make sure that project makes sense for the market that it's going in. So the big difference, both residential and commercial, you're going to provide a lot of financial information so we understand what our borrowers look like. But on the commercial side, it's going to get a lot more project specific. And then if it's a business that somebody's looking to buy or start, you're going to have a business plan and try to do the old SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. So just a little bit additional as far as that
Yes.
goes on both to compare.
So then here's the other question is interest rate. So on houses, a lot of times you can buy down points or you can do this or that first time buyer and stuff like that. On interest rate on commercial, it is a little bit different, correct?
It's a lot different. You typically won't see 30-year fixed on commercial loans. And the reason for that is if I'm making the loan and that interest income for the financial institution is their biggest source of income, if you do a 30-year fix, a low rate, and then we saw as rates went up a bunch and Wall Street Journal Prime's at 7.5 now, if you had a bunch of commercial loans at 3%,
Yeah.
you're
in
losing.
trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times commercial loans have shorter terms. They may be a 3-year fixed or a 5-year fixed.
Oh, gosh, okay.
And so then you kind of they have a balloon and you look to renew it at that point in time. And so that's a big difference in the interest rate factor. And then to be honest, financial strength, project strength can vary by borrower to borrower on what interest rate we would charge on a commercial loan.
Gotcha.
If there's more risk, we try to get a higher return, which would be a higher interest rate.
Yeah.
If it's a really strong deal with a strong guarantor, then interest rates can be more aggressive.
Yes.
So there's not I'm sure there is, but just for my understanding, there's a range of interest rates for commercial?
Yeah,
Pro-
so
project?
every financial institution can do that. Some
Okay.
price off rate sheets. They may use a rate index, Federal Home Loan Bank of Des Moines or the U.S. Treasury, and then do spreads off of that. So some institutions just say, "Here's the rate sheet. Here's what you go after." We don't. You know, it's kind of a deal by deal basis, which is nice because it allows you to take care of the clients that you need to be taking care of. So there
So a
is,
lot more
we don't
personal.
have a box. We don't
Okay,
have
well,
it set in a box.
That's good.
Yeah.
You like to hear that.
Yes.
So if somebody wanted to start a business, and they needed a loan, is that, when you say commercial lending, is that what that is, or is that like a building?
No, so commercial lending is, I can do everything but your personal residence.
Okay.
So if you're
okay.
buying an investment rental property, I can do it. If you're
Oh,
starting a
okay.
business, we can do it on the commercial lending side. So all I'm not able to do is somebody buying a personal residence or building their personal residence. That's the only thing I can't personally
Okay.
touch on as a commercial relationship.
So if there was a young person out there that wanted to start a business, what would that look like? Like, where would they start that process?
Business plan.
Business plan,
I mean,
okay.
you can't ask too many questions, and that's both client to customer, customer to the bank. You know, a lot of good dialogue.
And then
Bankers.
do they call you first, or they bring you a business plan first?
We try to be a trusted advisor
Mm-hmm.
as a commercial relationship banker. So if somebody has a connection to somebody, I would always say get to them as early as you can in the process,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
just so that you can say, hey, here's what I'd be looking for if you're coming to me to apply for a business loan. Here's the things I think you need to think about.
And then start that plan
Yeah.
from there. Got it.
And then
Yeah.
do a lot of due diligence and research.
Yeah.
I mean,
Years probably, huh?
Yeah, it depends on the business,
Depending,
obviously.
yeah.
But yeah, again, there can't be too many questions.
Yeah.
And that's on both sides of the table. So
So what's your favorite project you've ever done for somebody in Springfield?
I gotta be careful answering that
Oh,
give myself-
His favorite.
Yes.
Every single
One of them are his favorite.
Yes.
The littlest to the biggest.
one. Very true. It's what I love about commercial lending is every deal is different. Every size is different.
Yeah.
I've got to do as large as a $60 million deal, and I've done as small as a $25,000 deal. And so being involved in people achieving their life
Dreams
goals,
and
yeah,
goals,
whether
yeah.
it's business related, whether it's real estate related,
Right.
that's the aspect of
Yeah.
commercial lending that I love the most. So, it's fun getting to see Springfield and the Southwest Missouri area grow. So any project that me personally and us as a bank guarantee that we get to be involved in is exciting.
That is
It's
good.
nice to
Yes.
drive by our
Yeah.
sign when you're driving around
Yeah.
town and you
Yeah.
see financed by Guaranty Bank.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And especially
And
if I'm not
it's
part of
really
it.
great about Guaranty Bank, which I really enjoy about them, is working with them on commercial and residential when I have a file, is they're very personal. I can reach out, have a conversation, and we can have that dialogue very
Huge.
easily. Where sometimes if I have sometimes more of a remote lender, it's a little bit more difficult. So I always really enjoy those local lenders that I can work with, ask the questions.
Have a relationship.
Have a
with, yeah.
relationship. If we're doing a different type of commercial loan, if we're having to do like a holdback for construction disbursement or something like that, it's very easy to pick up the phone and call anybody at Guaranty Bank, and we really appreciate that.
It's our job. You guys are in the customer service business. We're in the customer service, right?
Relationship driven
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
the community
Yeah.
bank
It should
things.
be.
Yeah,
Yes.
the community bank thing's huge, and if we're not being responsive, that's hurting you guys. That's hurting our clients, and
Yes.
you don't do good business that way.
Well, thank you, Mark, for coming.
I'm
I'm gonna be so hydrated today, and I need to be.
And you got extra water.
And
'cause
extra
we
water.
we had to try 'em
yes,
all.
yeah.
Yes.
We really appreciate. We know you're busy. We know.
No, my
we
pleasure.
Appreciate you coming in and
Yes.
spending time with us today. So,
Pleasure.
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
See you
Bye.
next time.